Welcome people to Real Stories UK. This is a story about a 21-year-old young man who was knocked off his pushbike, chased down and stabbed to death by 4 masked men on the 2nd of October 2022. Video footage showed Kyron Lee as he limped away as fast as he could before being surrounded by 4 masked men carrying 18-inch machetes and large knives. Moments earlier, the 21-year-old from Slough was deliberately knocked off his bike by the attackers in a stolen car, stabbed and slashed as he was chased down the street. The group later revealed to be part of the Chalvey Boyz gang, stabbed Kyron 14 times in the chest, arms and head before leaving him to bleed to death on the curbside on the 22nd of October 2022. Thames Valley Police had no leads upon finding the 21-year-old's body apart from some CCTV footage showing his faceless killers, who were all wearing masks and hoods and a car with a cloned license plate. Chilling footage showed the last moments of Kyron's life, who after being struck by the car was stabbed. He tried to flee and his killers pursued him and ended his life. After police officers attended the crime scene, large blood-splattered stains marked the curbs in a courtyard in Kippenham, Slough. Police officers then reviewed the video footage from the scene. One Thames Valley police officer said, "I've never seen so much blood." Another added, "It's terrifying. There's no doubt they were intending to inflict unsurvivable injuries, which they did. It's definitely one of the most, if not the most brutal murders I've ever seen." Soon after the attack, a member of the public reported a Volkswagen Golf, which had been used in the killing, was abandoned in a nearby park. Forensic tests would find Kyron's blood inside the car and an 18-inch machete hidden in undergrowth down a nearby street. Intelligence would reveal a previous altercation between Kyron's younger brother, Donny, and a man named Khalid Noor, 22, which was seen as a potential reason for the killing. Analysing bank records, they found Khalid Noor had booked 2 flights, one to Istanbul and one to Marrakesh, but officers managed to arrest him outside Gatwick Airport before he was able to board. Additionally, his transactions revealed a booking at a Travelodge hotel in Slough, which the address of an individual named Mohammed Abdul, 20, was used for the booking. Abdul managed to flee to Calais via the Eurostar before travelling on to Belgium and then on to the Netherlands. Noor's bank records showed he had visited a fried chicken shop shortly after the murder. CCTV footage gave clearer images of Abdul, as well as a third suspect nicknamed Mr. Longcoat, whose clothing matched that seen in the CCTV footage showing the build-up to Kyron's murder. Murderers don't change their shoes, one investigator said, while comparing those to the ones in the murder footage and noticing their similarities. The shoes are going to be quite relevant because of what we have at the scene. Yaqub Musa, 21, was identified by police intelligence, including phone data that showed his mobile phone was switched off during the time of the killing, just like the other attackers. He was arrested at Heathrow Airport, trying to flee on a flight to Ethiopia. During an interview, Musa spun a story trying to protect himself. He said, "I feel sorry for Kyron. Despite having stabbed his victim, he claimed he was leaving the country because he was so scared for his life, but insists he was not involved in any gang life." He added, "I got stabbed here," pointing to his arm and head. "Stabbing is something I don't want to be a part of, I swear down." However, Musa would be linked to the crime by his own Ring doorbell footage, which showed him on the day of the killing wearing a shiny black puffer jacket and tracksuit bottoms with a white stripe that matched one of the suspects. It's slightly ironic his own CCTV footage is helping us make a case against him, one officer remarked. 7 weeks after the killing, El Gamari and Saheed Ahmed handed themselves in. Abdul was arrested in the Netherlands and extradited back to the UK. Al Mala returned to British soil in 2023 and was arrested. Further investigation before the trial would reveal that Abdul supplied the weapons but did not commit the attack. Saheed Ahmed was the driver and the rest carried out the harrowing killing. The exact reason why Kyron was killed is unclear, but according to DCI Roddy, it was a revenge attack after a member of the Chalvey Boyz was assaulted. 7 weeks after the killing, El Gamari and Saheed Ahmed handed themselves in. Kyron's family insist he was not part of a gang, but did tell the Sun newspaper he was a drug dealer who got involved in the illegal trade to help support his family after his mum went downhill. His brother, Cassell Lee, 24, who moved out of the family home at 15 to live with his dad, tells us Kyron kind of fell into dealing because of the housing situation. Mum wasn't using her money to look after our brothers. He found himself having to take responsibility and be the man of the house. He used the money to buy baby formula, food, clothes, and tried to repair the house so that it was safe for one of our brothers, who was taken away by social services to return home. Kyron's heartbroken mum Donna admitted she made mistakes, but never expected her son to be ripped away from her. She said, "I'm not the perfect mother. I've made mistakes. I've made terrible decisions, but I'm sure Kyron loved me and I loved him." Kyron's brother Cassell, who moved out of Slough years back to get away from the kind of life his brother got involved in, says his brother Kyron's plan was to eventually move away from drug dealing and change his life, and the only reason he got involved was to help out his family while his mum was struggling with her own habits. Kyron felt like he had no other option but to step up and provide for his siblings, which is how he ended up getting involved in the drug game. There's having the will to change your future, and then there's having the means. The sad thing for Kyron is that it was too late. On the night of the murder, Kyron had been dealing. Next to his body was a rucksack with a large amount of cash and lots of cannabis deals. It is not believed his dealing was related to the killing, rather it was Kyron's affiliation to a gang known as C Block, who were rivals to the Chalvey Boyz. In 3 separate trials, which lasted over 10 months, those responsible for Kyron's murder were sentenced to a total of 97 years. Outside court, Donna, Kyron's mum, insisted no sentence will be enough for what happened to her son, and she added, "Nothing prepares you for losing a child. I never in a million years thought this could happen. It's a sad state of affairs. I don't know why they did it. Was it worth it?" Kyron's brother Cassell, who lives in Brighton, says people can find themselves at risk just by hanging around with someone affiliated with a gang. You suddenly find yourself within them, adding, "It's like a domino effect." He is considering training to become a social worker in a bid to help those involved in gangs and drugs after his experiences. He says he has empathy for the families of the young men and teens who were sentenced for killing his brother, but he is unsure if he will ever be able to forgive them. Cassell adds, "One of the murderers was the younger brother of someone in my school year. I acknowledge that the families will lose out on their relationships with their children because of what they have done, and I empathize with them. It will affect a lot of people and those around them." Yaqub Musa, 21, will serve at least 23 years in prison after pleading guilty to the murder. Khalid Noor, 20, Mohammed Elgami, 18, and Fras Sidamid, 17, who were all found guilty of murder at trial, will serve a minimum of 26, 25 and 23 years respectively. After returning to the UK, Ilyas Almala, 21, of Eltham Avenue, Slough, was arrested and charged with 1 count of murder on July the 14th after a Thames Valley police investigation. After a tireless investigation, which is revealed in the new Channel 4 documentary, Catching a Killer, Stab in the Dark, they brought 6 people to justice, including 2 who fled overseas, who have been sentenced to nearly 100 years in prison. After a tireless investigation, which is revealed in the new Channel 4 documentary, Catching a Killer, Stab in the Dark, all the killers were brought to justice, including 2 who fled overseas, who have been sentenced to nearly 100 years in prison. It also hears from family members including Kyron's mother, Donna, who issues an emotional warning over the worrying rise of violent crime involving machetes. Donna tells the show, "They ambushed him. It wasn't a one-on-one. It was 4 with knives. They were going for him. He had no chance. They ambushed him like a lamb to the slaughter. These youngsters think it's normal to go out and carry machetes. And of course, if they're going to carry it, they're going to use it. Youngsters don't really think before they act. And then it's too late. Kyron has so much dreams and aspirations. It's just not right. It's just another sad story and the reality that we see day to day." Kyron was a young man in unfortunate circumstances where he felt the only way for him to get out of that circumstance was to get on the streets and start selling to help provide for his family. His mum was a drug addict and wasn't in the home, and she wasn't doing things that society says a mother should be doing. So he had to step up and look after his siblings. This is just another sad story that we see nowadays so often. Kyron was just another young man trying to better his circumstance. He had to grow up fast and become the man of the house, and I hope that the youngsters and young people that watch this video will realise that you might want to get involved in a certain life and it might seem flashy and nice at the time, and even if you've got a plan to get in and get out before you make it out, it might be too late. Thanks for watching, people. Please like, share, comment, subscribe and stay tuned for more content from Real Stories UK.